well as
That'd be a
going
whole
through the
different
normal
conversation.
development process,
Yeah.
historic zoning, all of that. There's lots of processes, but the construction is defined in here that's anticipated.
And given the amount of
specifically.
parking, I'm not sure you would be able to build another structure on that property.
Did I miss the attorney's fee provision
For attorney fees for what?
in the event that, well, it
Well,
usually goes with
Yeah.
choice of law and venue.
Hold on. It was in,
Spoken like a true attorney.
Well, I'm all for lawyers getting paid.
You say that often.
Well,
That's what the city-
in all sincerity, loser pays winner's lawyer's fees does a lot of good to deter frivolous and vexatious litigation.
yeah, I thought we put that in here, and I'm not sure exactly which section, but if it's not, this is not a vote, you're not voting on
We're
this
not voting
tonight.
tonight, so we can clear that up.
Just one question.
Alderman Martin.
I was told when this first came up that this was our only proposal, and that was the reason we were accepting it. If we had been, if the bank had proposed $100 a month rent instead of $2,400 a month, would we have accepted it because it was the only proposal?
Negotiated. I mean, there's room to negotiate anything, Margaret. I mean, if.
Well, why didn't we negotiate?
Have at it. I mean,
Well,
anything on this board can negotiate.
We did sit down, once we found that they were the responsive company toward our request, we did sit down with them, and we have negotiated this lease, every term of it, as far as how much they're willing to put into it, what they're willing to do, and how much money we're going to accept for rent. We have, in good faith, negotiated every term.
That would, anything that comes through the process, we would have worked with and negotiated, and that would be a decision for the board to look at.
Okay, number 16, consideration resolution 2013-06, a resolution to adopt the amended Williamson County multi-hazard mitigation plan and authorize the mayor to sign the letter of agreement.
Mr. Mayor, in the interest of time, why don't we move this to next meeting? This is a pretty straightforward request from the county, but I don't, it's a 300-page document that we've given to you, so let's just move that, give you 2 more weeks on that.
Number 17, consideration professional services agreement with CDM Smith Incorporated for the City of Franklin water reclamation facility modifications and expansion, and a total amount not to exceed $2,967,150.
This is the negotiated agreement that we have worked with CDM Smith after you as a board gave us the authority to do so in Resolution 2012-18. Actually, it's 2012-58, I'm sorry. But this is to go forward with the design of the water reclamation facility or the wastewater treatment plant, which us older people refer to it more often. And you see, it's what we're proposing to have done as far as design is what we looked at in our IWRP, with the exception that as we started this process of negotiation, we did inform you that we needed to do some of the biosolids design work up to the dewatering. Because that's actually part of the treatment process of the plant, et cetera. So this is the negotiated scope of services and fees that we have come up with, and we're presenting them to you. Take any questions that you might have.
Real quick, there's 4 components. You're increasing the capacity from 12 million gallons a day to 16 million gallons a day at the existing plant. You're doing some additional extensive wastewater collection system modeling that helps us understand how the whole system fits together and feeds to this plant. We're upgrading our plant control system and monitoring system called SCADA. And then we are enhancing, as Mr. Parker referred to, our biosolids treatment process. The dewatering is a separate component. That's the piece we've sort of put a marker on and say we're going to look at and have some additional review on, but we've got to do the treatment process that fits into what the plant part of this is. So the dewatering and the handling part is another component that we'll deal with separately that fits into this, is related to this, but that's not being designed at this point in this contract.
But we do expect, as part of this, the design report, et cetera, that we'll have alternatives and be looking at how we might go forward with that dewatering and drying process.
Could I ask one question? I thank you. I did look to see if there were several alternatives there, because that is the part of it that the board has not agreed on yet. It talks about stakeholders. Would this be a different set of stakeholders from the overall?
Integrated water
That's
resource
right,
plan.
that's right. I mean, I think there should be several elected officials and ratepayers on this. Whenever you're talking about stakeholders, I think this would not be the same as the stakeholders for the entire plan, because it's a different set of people. Whenever we're talking about the wastewater treatment plant, it really should involve people that are ratepayers for that, and I would expect some elected officials also.
If you would remind me what section you're referring to
Oh,
there.
gosh, I just wrote down stakeholders because I read it in here, and I'm sorry, but it just talks about, it talks about meetings, it talks about projects. Yes.
Yeah, we when we were negotiating scope, didn't define necessarily what the stakeholder group
Well, I'm
would
just
look like.
saying, I think that would be appropriate.
There's
Yes.
potential that we would use the integrated planning process stakeholders, but, we have options to
Well,
look
as I
outside
say,
that group as well.
this is somewhat different because there were a lot of those that really had areas of expertise that were not on this. And I felt at the time that we probably did not have enough people that were actually going to be paying the fees on it.
Yeah, we didn't go through the process of defining who that group was at this
Right,
point.
but
so-
I could tell that here, and that's the reason I made my point about it. Thank you.
18, consideration interlocal agreement with the City of Brentwood, City of Franklin Contract 2012-0200 for mutual cooperation between the two entities to share access between both fiber optic networks.
This is an agreement, we did actually a similar agreement a couple months ago, working with Williamson County. This provides for our opportunity to access fiber in one another's systems, helps us work better together. And this would actually help us connect up from the northern part of Franklin into Brentwood and help us connect our systems better, more effectively. And Mr. Banner can talk in a lot more detail than I can, but
Is it good, Mr. Banner?
Yes, sir, it's good. This is...
they pay for their stuff, they pay for their project, we...
This is similar to the one we signed with the county. The only exception is there's only one location that we're going to connect, and that's on George Patton, whereas the county had 3. This is just one connection.
And this helps us with some of the public safety work we're doing together, et cetera, to just have our systems connect and talk and use the fiber more effectively as a group.
Okay, we're going to reconvene at 7:25. For those people in the audience that have, citizens that have come in, and I anticipate that you have some interest, so you may want to be here to speak to some issue. If you're here to speak about an issue, there are cards on the table in the center of the room. If you would fill out those cards with your name and address and the subject that you want to address. So see you in a few minutes.